ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. Come on, baby,
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for Fight Night Fortunes with good friend and colleague, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro. Make sure you head on over to Twitter or X and follow him at GamLou. Enjoy our Octagon talk as we are live. Well, we will be live in Mexico City this week. My headline, a UFC Mexico City, can local hero Moreno reign supreme? Busy day today. It's opening day in the MLB. It's the Sweet 16. So we're going to bring Lou on and we're going to talk a little MLB. Maybe he has a couple in-pocket over-unders and futures there. See who he likes maybe in the Sweet 16. And then we're going to dive live into the Octagon. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. I can't thank the family enough. I got a beautiful bonsai tree today delivered all the way from California. Looks beautiful right on my desk here. So thank you so much from the WagerWire family. Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Head on over to Facebook, download the app. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith, then head back to atlantasteaksandseafood.com. Steaks, chops, appetizers, protein, fish, whatever you need. This week and this week only, get a free 2-pound bag of deveined shrimp, the big boys, a little shrimp cocktail, surf and turf, however you want to use them, on Terry Smith there. So take advantage of that. And last but never least, Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. So without further ado, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro.
Good afternoon, Jeff. This week, it's the altitude of Mexico City. We got Mexican fighters fighting other Mexican fighters. We have Mexican heritage athletes living in the United States, still Mexican, whether they're Texas, California, Colorado, fighting other fighters from around the world. So what we are about to experience is a huge home crowd, a huge advantage for altitude, and a huge advantage for us if we've done our work and know which fighters, or at least some of the fighters that got there early and how early, and which fighters didn't.
Well, we're going to dive into that card. And I always tell everyone here, Monday's your Sneak Teep podcast where you give some line moves on the fights. And you made that known that the high altitude, who got there early, who didn't. And because of the altitude, you suggested maybe only 2 big boy fights, right?
Well, I think that's maybe why we didn't get big boys on there. There's really no big boy Mexican fighters that we could use to ship in, so we'd have to find a way to get heavyweights into Mexico City, and you couple that with they're there 2 weeks, and a lot of times, a lot of the zip can really leave them after a few minutes. It's harder on the bigger bodies. So I think maybe through attrition, the UFC has learned the smaller bodied athletes, maybe a little better conditioned, deal with the altitude better. I think more importantly, those that get there ridiculously early deal with the altitude. 7 days, 10 days, that's not enough to deal with altitude appropriately, according to science and according to what my mixed martial arts people have told me. And those people know, take my word for it.
Before we dive into the octagon, let's start with March Madness. We're down to the Sweet 16, 4 games tonight, 4 games tomorrow before we get to that Elite 8. And then next week when we talk, we'll be talking Final Four, of course. Anything you're rooting for, anything you've seen, or anyone you'll be rooting for in particular moving on starting tonight?
I must disclose that this opinion you're going to get is totally a fan. Not even a fan. I'm not a fan of basketball. I don't watch it. I don't know. I know that Arizona's in it. That's my alma mater. So for that reason, of course, I'm going to be pulling for them. That makes it easy for me. But I know there's a 9-point with Duke. I went to the Arizona Duke final game for the NCAA title. I want to say it was 03, but or 02. And it was in Minneapolis. I went to that game. Arizona and Duke have a good history. And in 2013, Arizona and Duke played, and Duke was 9.5 point favorite. Arizona beat them straight up. So Arizona can do this. I'll be hoping they do. And what I just gave you right there is the extent of any basketball knowledge that I may have. I have no clue other than that what could happen. I know that I'm looking forward to the end of the tournament because even more eyeballs then dump into the UFC and our market gets very volatile.
Well, back in those days, you had one of my favorite coach, Lou Olson, and I don't the stylish, the dapper, that gray hair. I wish I had as much hair as Lou Olson had.
You got to bring up hair now, huh? Oh boy, Jeff. Lute was a pure gentleman, and what a great coach. We hit gold when we got Lute.
Yeah, a big fan. With following Arizona back in those days, Sean Elliott, you guys have had some wagons of teams. Kind of troubled waters a little with Sean Miller. We won't get into any of that good stuff there, so we'll leave that there. Let's transition to the Diamond. MLB opening day, whether it's Cy Young, whether it's futures, divisions, props, or anything in pocket or anything that you're rooting for in the MLB for this full season?
Without question, one of my favorite bets of all time every year is hardball season win totals over and under. For me, you can put a small amount, a large amount, but it doesn't matter. But you get 4 months, I'll say it how I used to, of looking in the sports page every day. Now nobody looks at a sports page anymore. You look at the computer to see the standings. My point is that an over-under season total win, or to make the playoffs or to not to make the playoffs, those are bets that allow you to work and fester and percolate the whole season long. And therefore, the bang for the buck gets greater because it spreads out so much. You bet a couple $100 on a baseball season total. What is that a day? 32 cents. I mean, come on. So I really hit those heavy. I study them hard. And yes, I did make some. I made a month ago, and these were on a show here I do in Phoenix. So I'm not just pulling these numbers out of my back pocket. We took the Padres under 89.5 right when that opened. That's 85.5 now. Through my heart alone, because I'm a U of A guy and I am from Omaha, and as a sophomore, Arizona won the College World Series with me in the stands and being kind of an ambassador for the team. And oh, by the way, Terry Francona was on that team, and we became at least acquainted during that time. Well, he's the manager of Cincy. So yes, I got a little bit of an overbet on Cincy, but nowhere near what the Padres is. And I made one today, and it's the Diamondbacks under 86.5. I have not heard anyone speak about the Diamondbacks without saying they're a 90-win team. And I love the coach. I love the talent. I don't know about the Corbin move. They've been relatively injury-free for a few years. They've overachieved for the last 2 years. Now we have the weight of expectation. I live here. I'm just telling you, the surface and the environment is perfectly right for a team that maybe through injury, and you'd never want that, but through whatever circumstance may not. Hey, they can win 84, 85 games and make the playoffs. But they opened at 83. They're now 86.5. So they're getting steamed. And like I say, everyone's talking about them. I don't, despite the fact I'm going to the game tonight and going to sit there with my buddies and pull for them, I'm on the under for the Diamondbacks, and I like it, and I bet it pretty good.
Well, a couple of things. First and foremost, my all-time favorite manager is Tito. Tito Francona has spent some years with us in Boston. He struggled down the end. He had some health issues and then media and stuff, and unfortunately left and went to the Guardians. I am the hugest Tito fan. So glad that he's back in the game. He's going to do wonders with that young team in Cincinnati. If he can just fix that front end and back end, he's got one of the most exciting players to watch with Ellie De La Cruz, and they're young, they're youthful, they're going to be so fun to watch. Get into your Arizona play. The funny thing is the Dodgers opened up under over at 103.5. They're 105.5 in some shops. The Diamondbacks are picked to finish second, and they have an 86.5. So Vegas is telling us, Lou, that the Dodgers are going to win by 19 games, which I know they're loaded. I know they started the year 2-0. They're the world champs, but it's hard to fathom because the NL West, listen, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, I'm a Giant fan, and of course you got the Rockies, but kind of disgusting to think that, by the All-Star break, the Dodgers could be 15 games up already.
Well, we'll have to see. I also took a couple of real long shots in first to 10 wins, even though we know that the Dodgers already have 2 wins. I took the Mets and Seattle, and I got really, really long odds on them. I also took the Twins. Now, I have to say that Bill Krakenberger, who's a good buddy of mine, the Crack Man. These are his releases. I took these off of Gil's show. Yep. 16 seconds after Crack released them. So when I say these 2 bets, I want to say that I bet them, but they're Crack's bets, which ought to make you want to run to the counter even faster to bet him because he's the best in the biz. And his 2 bets were that I went and bet the Twins to miss the playoffs. Now, I got a -110 on the price. I can't tell you what the price is now because it has to have been hit. It's a public release by him on Gil's show. And then the other one was the Red Sox to make the playoffs. I paid $115 for that one. So I don't know what those prices are, but I want to share those. And also, I really think it's important for us to have ethic and cite our resource. I would never give somebody else's positions out and not cite them, whether I write it or talk it. So there's that.
Yeah, and I love Gil. I love Crack. We have Crack. Had Crack every Monday morning, first show of the week. He would come on during football. We hope to bring him back soon again. And Gil started last year, which was amazing, is the races in each month. And the funny story with Gil is last year in March, he released the Guardians, who were like 60-1 to have the most wins in the month of March. I'm sorry, in the month of April here. And I think he was 1 out away, and he ended up missing out on that one. He hit one in July, but he too has the Twins this month to have the most wins. So great sources you have there, Lou.
Well, I listen. Gil's the best. His show is awesome. I always learn from it. I've been fortunate enough to be on it a handful of times, and so I mean, in the morning I have that and Dave Ross's show in while I'm doing a lot of my real estate and handicapping work. So baseball's great. And now what happens with me, Jeff? Yeah, I'll go to games. I go to all the day games here. Usually on a Thursday, they play some team in a get-out game at noon. And me and my buddies, and we all go down, eat some Mexican food, and then go to the game for 5 innings and then go home. So we do that, but I won't bet baseball now until the playoffs. So regular season, outside of the game I go to for a small little recreational bet, I really won't play regular season baseball. I used to do it every day on the hour as a young man, and I did it for maybe 25 or 30 years, but I come to realize in all honesty that I couldn't beat it. And so if I can't beat it, it isn't any fun for me. So I quit doing it. I play the sports that I can win, that I can actually make a profit in.
Well, speaking of that, let's jump into the Octagon, UFC Mexico City. First fight you want to break down is Lupi Godinez versus Julia Polastri. Currently on DraftKings, Lupi minus 278. You can get Julia at plus 225. And over-under of over 2.5, Lou, is now minus 620. So I guess, as you would say, a pillow fight here.
That's how it's lined. And we have Lupe Godinez is the more experienced fighter, and she's the Mexican fighter. She's been training at a Mexican camp. However, for this camp, she didn't. She trained in Vancouver, interestingly enough. I trust her being veteran enough and being fit enough to have navigated her training to be able to deal with the altitude. Again, 115-pound woman, 5'2". She has the experience. She has good, solid striking, but she's a gritty wrestler that if she can get you down, get on top, she can smother you with ground and pound and top control pressure. Her opponent, Polastri, a Brazilian who is about the same size, way less experienced, and I think she's actually a little green for this. Godinez opened at a very surprisingly reasonable price. She was 300 at open. And I think that is a fair depiction of how I view this fight. At 210, she was released Monday on the Bout Business clients. When she got down that low, I just figured that was a good time to take her. So we popped her. I like her experience. I like her wrestling. The fact that they have it over 2.5, the only way to play this would be to find out fight does not go the distance. It was going to be a really juicy plus number. Maybe one girl gets a sub over another, like we saw last week. So I like Godinez here. This is a good position for her, a young Mexican athlete fighting in Mexico City in front of her people against a Brazilian girl that's giving away tremendous experience advantages. I like Lupe. Find a way to play her in a parlay because at her current pricing, that's just a little bit eye-watering. Find a parlay to play her in.
Next fight, Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Right now, Rodriguez minus 142, Borjas plus 120. Over under currently over 2.5 at minus 175, Lou.
Okay, so now I had to put this one on there because it's going to be such a great war. Rodriguez 2-0 in the UFC, a Mexican fighter. He was on the Noche card, got wobbled by Odie Osborne early in his fight and just refused that Mexican will to walk through trouble and ended up finishing Odie Osborne. He struck lightning in a bottle. The UFC loves him. They now give him this fight, and they give him an 0-2 guy. Problem is, the 0-2 guy, Borjas from Peru, has fought killers, hasn't done terribly against them, though he's lost them both. His level of competition faced is higher, and this fight's going to be very, very competitive. I think 110 minutes, I'm ready to look at Martinez, and then the next time I'm ready to look at Borjas. The one thing is, it's shaded to go over at a 175, and at a decision at altitude with a guy as desperate as Borjas. I think the way that I may want to attack this would be on the points handicap. And if you look on your DraftKings screen, you can see that Borjas plus 3.5 points on the decision on the points handicap. You got to pay minus 165 for that. And quite honestly, based on that over, I like that a lot. And I think that is a position I would ask people that live in a DraftKings area that want to make a look at this. That would be a great way to take a look at this fight, because I believe it goes to decision. And if it's a split decision, you win. And even if it's Rodriguez 29-28 on 3 cards, you win. So Borjas at minus 165, and you find a way to put him with our friend Lupe, Ms. Godinez, all of a sudden you got a plus 118 parlay sitting right there. So that's how I would tell you to take those first 2 positions and attack.
I like where you're thinking there, turning juice into positives. That's
I want to bet one. I want to, if I'm 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or $10, I want to bet $10 and win more than the 10 I'm betting, and that's how I make my bet. I don't like to. I'm not betting 15 to win 10. I'm not. If I have to do that, I'll find a way to use it in a parlay and bend the truth into a positive number, just as you notated.
Third fight here, Manuel Torres, Drew Dober. Right now, Dober minus 118 on DraftKings, Torres minus 102. Over under it looks like our only 1.5 under minus 188. This looks like don't walk to the kitchen. You might come back and this fight's over.
This fight, if we think that last fight is going to be exciting, and it is, it's going to be a war. This is that fight on steroids, strapped to TNT and nitroglycerin, falling off a cliff. I mean, this fight was put here for pure violence because both guys only know how to attack. Torres is a finishing fool. He's got 15 professional wins. He's got 7 subs and 7 KOs. So 14 finishes out of 15, and he's well-rounded. He finds a way. And in this fight, he's going to be 7 years younger, 3 inches taller, longer, younger, taller, longer. This fight stays on the feet, which it absolutely figures to. The advantage is for Torres. Now, the Dober side is one of experience. 36 years old, yes. Been knocked out a few times, yes, because he just makes the fight. He goes to mix it up. He doesn't really care about being a champ. He wants to say when he's done fighting that he fought all these great guys and he knocked out these guys and these guys knocked out him. He's a really amazing young man. He's from Omaha, Nebraska, my hometown. I can't help but like him, but he's 36, and I think he's going to be giving away some speed, some power, and certainly some durability in the chin to Torres. And so I've already released Torres at about a pick'em. He's still there. I like him in the fight in Mexico in front of his people. Dober, the warrior, knows what he's doing, but Dober trains in Denver. Okay, so he trains at altitude. This altitude in Mexico may have affected him a week ago when he got there, but he's not going to have a problem acclimating to Mexico City. So we got ourselves a great fight here. But what I will say is in the interviews, Dober's made indications that he's desperate to win a fight. And in order to do so, he's going to have to fight with some IQ. That means he may have to use some defense. He may have to use some patience, which is very atypical of Dober. But should he do that, and I think it's a good idea that he does as well, Torres hasn't fought out of the first round in many of his fights. So you want to test Torres. You want to be patient. You want to take it deep. Over 1.5 rounds is plus 145. Boy, I like that plus sign right there.
I do too. I thought you might end up over there. So I too will be definitely on that one, as that is the co-main event. And as we get to the main,
you just got to hold your breath, because when you see this fight in the first round, it's going to be two guys standing there throwing hatchets at each other.
Well, you know what? If I take the L there, hopefully we get a few OMG and wow factors. How's that, Lou?
Oh shit, you sure will. You'll get some cursing as well, if you know, because I do like to go over, and another way to attack it would be because it's a plus at 1.5. Fight starts round 2. Just get me out of the first round. And that would be probably based on that. You might pay 110. It might be plus 100. That's where I would go. I want to cash the ticket, and I don't care about broadcasting how many 13-1 tickets I have, because 13-1, 40-1, 60-1, good as it sounds, when do you cash them?
They end up as doilies and dartboards most of the time in confetti. How's that?
It's turtlet paper. Come on now. We're here to make money and earn. The
main event. Let me turn that. Moreno versus Erceg. Brandon Moreno, currently minus 245. Erceg at plus 200. The over 4.5 minus 238. So an exact opposite of the last fight, Lou.
Yeah, this fight scheduled for 5, and they're saying a decision. And when you look at the odds for flyweight fighters in altitude, that's probably the correct number. However, these are two of the biggest flyweight fighters in the history of UFC fighting. They're two of the most powerful. They're both capable strikers. Erceg, the story on Erceg is he got thrown in his 3rd or 4th UFC fight to fight for the championship against Pantoja. He was bigger, stronger, really gave Pantoja a fit in a very close decision loss. Then, because he took that fight, they give him another top 5 talent, where maybe he should have gone back to the drawing board, got a little momentum to come back. But because he had started and taken that opportunity to get up and fight, now that he gets another shark after he got Pantoja, and he got knocked out, brutally knocked out. That was his last fight. Now he comes here, he gets another very decorated former champion who the UFC needs to kind of resuscitate the division, and who Moreno needs to resuscitate his career. Can he do it? Is he old? No, he's not old. What is he, 33 years old? 31 years old. He's not old. He's just been around a long time, and this is his second stint in the UFC. He opened minus 175. I think that was a fair number for this fight, but now he's minus 245. Now you're starting to get into, I'm not so sure about that land as far as I'm concerned. I worry that Erceg is now caught up in this bubble where he has to compete against the top 6, and he may not be ready for that. We're going to find that out in this fight. That said, he's big and strong, some power, and yet he was knocked out by Carlos France, a fighter that Moreno finished. So I think there's more volatility in the fight than that total is indicating. And I go back and forth on the side because I like that Erceg plus money. I think it's a little out of line. Plus 2-1 might be a little out of line. But rather than make my stand there, I think where I would prefer to go is that maybe this fight does not go the distance and one man finishes another. I think if we were going to get a men's flyweight finish, it would be or it would involve one or both of these two guys. So I think that's our best chance. And I might try and sit back, wait, and just find the fight does not go the distance prop. And in fact, we don't have to sit back and wait. Let's see if I can find it right here under fighter props, decision. How about it? And of course, fight to go the distance. Moreno Erceg. Fight goes the distance, no, plus 160. I mean, that's probably where I land on this fight. And I sit there and I just hope that the altitude sucks out of the Aussie and Moreno can sub him. Because I think Moreno's going to have to get him to the floor to get advantage. If this stays standing, I think Erceg could catch him. We'll see.
Next week, UFC Las Vegas 105, Emmett versus Murphy in the Apex. Less fans, small octagon, correct?
No fans, small octagon, great main event fight. Emmett power coming out of every orifice. And the long, cool, collected Englishman who will try and maintain distance and pick and peck the Joe Frazier, bobbing and weaving Emmett as he tries to come in for damage. Should be a fascinating fight. And the Englishman's a big favorite. The Englishman's a big favorite in the fight. What's his name again? It's escaping me.
Emmett and Murphy?
Murphy, yes. Lerone Murphy. Really precise, calculated, calm, cool, where Emmett is a savage. It'll be a great stylistic matchup. But again, Lerone Murphy's pretty big favorite.
Scroller's been going the whole time. Everyone knows, of course, on Twitter to follow you at GamLou. They can go to gamlou.com. They can check out on Mondays your Sneak Peek podcast. Tomorrow after the weigh-ins, of course, the Bout Business podcast. But as we always wrap up this segment, Lou, tell them A, where to find the website, and B, of course, the great charity that you work with as well.
Yeah, the website is gamblou.com. The charity that I highlight and that GamLou routes proceeds to is called San Xavier Del Bac Mission. It's the oldest mission in the United States. It's proudly and prominently displayed on my webpage. And if you want to go there direct, you can by going to my webpage and hitting the link that we have directly to San Xavier. I appreciate you letting me say that. I appreciate you letting me come on, talk about these fights week in and week out. Now, what we have is no season with the UFC. We're going to go all the way through. So stay with us because we're going to have fun. And after last week's fiasco, I'm ready to knock it down this week. So we're going to have a good week.
Well, I can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough here at ECSI. And of course, everyone here on Twitterville, YouTube, they know where to find us here. I want everyone here to enjoy the madness. Sweet 16 tonight, opening day in the MLB, and of course, Mexico City on Saturday. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Mr. Lou Finocchiaro at GamLou, wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy yourselves. Stay in your lanes, people, and we'll see you soon.